so many people looked like they figured it out early, and I had such no clue what I was doing that I wouldn't dare try something.
I think I tried it a couple times, probably stoned, just like, I'll get up there and fuck around, but it never looked any. I mean, what he's doing is magic.
Yeah, and also the fact that I think I've seen him when I was real young in comedy do it at an open mic with other comedians. So it wasn't even like a show where it's like, that's what I mean. To be able to do that, to be able to be that confident in how truly funny you are. Not just stage funny, not stand-up funny, but in the I'm all-encompassing funny. I can make this group of fucking bitter, angry people that are waiting for their opportunity for attention to laugh. I can make them forget that.
This one time we were doing a show in the East Village, and I was just like, knew that he would do whatever with whatever, so I just put the TV on behind him. I just turned on the projector, and he, of course, turned it into like an amazing bit where he started doing the commentary for like a football game. And it was just like, he was like one of those guys, you could just throw anything at him. And it was, he's still alive. He's doing quite well. I don't know.
He's great. Rory Scovel. I assume all of you are familiar, but
it's
I think
weird though. I think
maybe we do this. Maybe this is what we do. We shine a light on a comedian that we love.
Shine a light.
We shine a light instead of cast a shadow.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Lightness defeats dark.
Spotlight. On
headlamp?
On the ones
headlamp?
Headlamp.
Okay.
I guess that is what I did. That wasn't a spotlight at all. That was me in a mine shaft.
Have you not camped a lot?
I have, but I'm always on mushrooms every time.
That's okay.
But I'm in charge of the fire.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, I remember the first time actually trying to tend and maintain and build a fire on mushrooms. That got real tricky.
That's a big ask.
Yeah, you have to be at a specific point in the trip. Because, I have this, I think I may have said it on the show, but I've definitely said it on podcasts before. There's a period of time, usually around like 40 minutes to an hour, that I call nope. Yeah. Where you can't touch me, you can't talk to me. I am battling my demons with, in a loincloth with a sword that like the blade fell off.
Yeah.
And I'm having a hard time.
I remember those
it's
days.
Beneficial though.
I loved those things about mushroom. I try not to glorify them too much because it'll make me want to do it, and that's not part of my MO. But I just want you to know I'm not yawning because I find you boring. I'm yawning because I took a red eye to be here. And
I appreciate that. It shows commitment.
Yeah, it was a good reason to get away from my wife and her just constant. No, we actually had a good trip. It was nice to finally not be competing for resources. But it was also, we had like a great time with the babe.
Yeah.
The babe is like talking now.
That's great.
Like she goes like this. She goes, I just, it's a ball.
That's the best.
It's a ball. I love her so much. And I told this on the last pod, and Joe just said it was a horrible story. I thought that we would kind of commiserate with horrifying things that happen. But the baby held her breath so long doing the waiting to cry that she passed out in my arms.
God.
And I think I also said this on the last pod. Like I said, I haven't slept, and I'm, on my fourth cold brew, and I still feel like I'm dying. And I feel like I don't have enough blood in my body, but there's these things that happen with your kids.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, we broke the baby and now our life is different. Just like some spills she's taken where you're like, all right, well, we can't live in society anymore.
No, that's permanent. We got to take her to a place that's wide open.
Or she's not going to get back up.
Yeah.
And we're never going to be able to recover.
Well, and I feel bad because we thought you were like, I thought you were going to jump in with like a nightmare story of your own. And I was just so horrified at the thought of holding a limp baby. Like I really put myself there in your body. And just like, I couldn't even consider a story because that thought
it was so insane
up.
For a 1-year-old to be like, I was just like, what? And the fact that she came to so quick, I think made it a lot better. And then Rosebud was like, I've actually Googled this because I was worried. Because whenever she takes a spill, she does that. She goes,
oh, no shit. Okay.
You know.
Man, that's horrifying.
So
well, and I told you, I
horrifying.
do have my own, because there are moments in parenting that could go, it's also like everything you make it out of, you're like, thank God, I can't believe we made it out of that quote unquote unscathed or without like permanent repercussions.
Dude, Michael Costa was telling me that his littlest got like they weren't paying attention to her because they were cooking dinner or something, and she was in the high chair and they didn't know she could get out.
Yeah.
And she stood in the high chair and then just fell out of the top of the high chair to her head. And it's so crazy because like you'll tell this to a pediatrician and they're like, yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
I know.
If I fell off of a ladder to my head, I would never do comedy again.
No, I wonder if it's, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
They just have baby brain.
They just grow back. It's perfectly
just
fine.
leaks out of their head.
No, but I think Crew might have been like 13 months old or 14 months old. And he was, I don't know how, it was an ice pop. He was eating an ice pop, and I guess we usually took it away when it got to a certain size or had danger of like, going apart. And I guess again we weren't paying attention, or we thought the other one was, and I heard the thing like this, and then I looked at him, and he's like the look
so
of
terrifying,
and it's a connection where he looks at you. His fucking protector in everything.
Yeah.
The guy who's supposed to fix it all. And he's just like, I'm dying, Dad. With his eyes. This is it.
And you're also like, dude, you're dying. Dude, you're dying right now.
I don't know what to do. So I mean, it was pure instinct. Like I think I took child CPR.
You just jump kicked him into the solar plexus.
It's just 300 right in his belly.
Ice.
But dude, I lifted him. I unstrapped the shit, frisbeed the fucking table of his high chair like across the kitchen, lifted him out on his, right under his chest, and then put him on his stomach and just went on his back.
So scary.
And the entire thing popped out of his mouth, and he, cried for a little bit, but then more or less settled very quickly. And then your emotions start.
Yeah.
Because it's that fucking straight. I think about this all the time, probably because I'm on, I'm edibles and mushrooms and all that stuff. But like, I always think like every time I almost fall, I'm like, man, there's a version of reality where I just fell and I'm in a wheelchair and I have to continue my life like that.
Oh my God.
I think about like, man, there's a version of reality somewhere where that went.
My drinking days, dude, that's like sometimes I have to remember because I can be very like focused on what I don't have, which is money. But I can get stuck in like the compare and despair or like just like that kind of bullshit. And then I have to remember that I flipped a minivan going 80 miles an hour in a blackout into a patch of trees in the mountains. With no seatbelt on, and my friend was in the car. She was wearing a seatbelt, and neither of us were hurt at all. I climbed out of the wreckage and hitchhiked to the store to buy beer, which is where I got arrested because I was trying to talk to the guy in Spanish.
Nice, and
he was not
in Washington.
He was not a Spanish speaker.
No,
but I was like, "Por favor, necesitamos cerveza, señor."
You have blood glass embedded in your forehead.
Escúchame, es muy importante. Hay un fiesta muy cerca.
You're trying to pay with her wallet.
Yeah.
It's like, where is this girl,
I was trying to
buddy?
do tap before it existed. I was like, money.
You might not get it, but your kids are going to love it.
Someday.
You're quoting Back to the Future for no reason.
But yeah, like, I mean, there's so many things like that. But you were just talking about alternate, like, where you think about the, like...
Yeah.
Like,
I think about that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a source of my anxiety. That's also my OCD. My OCD is like my depression and stuff. It's very simple. It's me catastrophizing.
Yeah,
that's right. Every possibility. So like one thing will lead to the worst thing, and then that will lead to another worst thing, a worse thing, and then I'm off like beating myself up over a reality that has yet to happen and will likely never happen.
Yeah, I today was like thinking about Rosebud because she's flying to Baltimore by herself with the baby. And I was thinking about like on the jet bridge, you know how like it goes up against the plane, but there's still like a crack.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if she's putting the stroller away and Minnow runs for that crack and falls onto the tarmac? Literally, and then started having that emotion just of like her fall and just like so terrified.
That actually amplified, and maybe this was also due to COVID since they both kind of happened simultaneously. But when Nicole became pregnant, all I could think of was dying.
Yeah.
And not like as a wish. Like,
no, that's all I thought about when we had her.
Right. Like you're just like, because I think it is that first time where you have to think outside yourself. And it's like, you're married, but you could die and she'd be fine.
Yeah.
My wife would be fine.
My wife, we know would be fine.
We know she'd be at the top.
It would be, what's the opposite
she'd do a special or a book about grieving.
Both. Yeah. She'd be the Brene Brown of comedy. She'd be like...
My wife would do the flowers for my funeral. It would go in some magazine.
Yeah.
Probably not because I'm too low profile, but maybe.
Rockland County.
Maybe laughspin.com will come back to existence for a day and post it.
The comics. Yeah,
the Interrobang just puts a fucking Mike Cannon dies. Flowers by Buds of Brooklyn.
Spot. Was it the apiary? Yeah. Do you remember that?
No, what is that?
It was another one of those online comedy magazines.
The apiary. Oh, I do remember that. I used to read a special thing.
They had a shot every week called the honey shot because apiary is it's a bee colony thing. And so the honey shot was like the picture but they did a lot of improv and sketch, so it kind of got mixed in with the stand-up. There were so many things that I gave a shit about. It's so funny because none of them matter anymore.
No, none at all.
None of them.
No, now the only thing that I'm trying to think of if anything.
It's like I still want to get a variety top 10.
Anything at all matters.
I still want to get a variety top 10. Like I would love that.
I want all of it.
Yeah.
None of it matters, but I want all of it because I think that's what'll fulfill me. I think that's what'll. What if the shallow shit that you're actually, that you convince yourself actually wouldn't plug the hole is actually exactly a perfect fit?
But the problem is that here's my thing, and I always get into this with people, therapists, friends, like when I'm catastrophizing or like woe is me-ing. Like the thing is like it's not that I don't even like I like money. Money's great. It's
money
fun
rules.
to get to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's fun to be like, hey, I'm gonna buy this and we're gonna go there. Whatever. Yeah. That's fun. But I don't like covet the idea of like having large amounts of it's just what I can do with money.
Oh, 100%. I've never even thought of money as a thing.
Like I think like certain people like think about having like a portfolio.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think of vacations.
Yeah. I just go,
that is why I'm not rich.
I'll order $70 takeout every night, Yeah. I remember a goal in my life at one point was just so that I was like, I just want to be able to eat at the Whole Foods salad bar every day.
Yeah. I was looking at you now.
And yeah, I can do it with credit cards. But I do think some of that stuff is like, you just want to be recognized because I think with stand-up, and this is going to be so, I don't know, lame, but stand-up, you are really putting out a version of yourself that is hopefully honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people don't like it, it feels like they're saying, we don't like you.
Oh, truly. I mean, I really am jealous of those who can go by joke. Like how Seinfeld is like, I didn't fail, the joke failed.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, what a beautiful way to exist. Because when I tell a joke that doesn't land, I'm like, they hate me personally.
I think about like a decision I made in 2013. If I have a bad set, I'm like, this is because I didn't shake Rachel Rush's hand. And now she's the head of comedy at CAA, and she's told everybody I'm a prick.
I think about coaching high school basketball in like the middle of the country.
Yeah.
And just how that would be a nice escape.
I definitely fantasize a lot about like Rosebud's having an affair. Like he almost couldn't keep that water down.
No, I love that. That's your fantasy.
My fan, but I get because of that. I have license to just like
Do
disappear
whatever you
into
want.
the Adirondacks. Like I can just go on a 2-month walk.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And nobody says anything to me. That seems very appealing.
Yeah. I wish there was a non-hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogenic.
Yeah. No, I would have actually tried that for as long as it took, and I'm
okay.
curious how long it would have taken.
Do you want to go back?
No.
Do you want to go to that?
But I wish there was like a
multiverse?
DMT trip without like tripping out, where you could just kind
Have
of.
you done DMT?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did. I really did.
Are you bummed at all that when you die, you're gonna have already seen the big reveal?
No, because I think there was more to go. I did it twice, and it back to back. So
back to back.
Yeah.
You do drugs like such a fucking trailer park monster. It's.
But the first time it felt like. So you want to hear about that?
Yeah.
It was. So I smoked this thing called changa.
Never mind.
Which, as far and it is like a root soaked in DMT or something that. So it's easier to hit. Whereas like DMT, you have to
freebase or something.
Yeah, but it's almost like a vape. Like you have to keep the flame close without touching it, and it's very involved. And then reality breaks down, and you're supposed to still kind of keep that within your abilities. I could barely do it with the changa. So I did it the first time, and I kind of took like. You're supposed to take 3 hits. I took like 2.5. I kind of hesitation pulled, and then everything broke down, and it was really like, it was crazy.
How long did it feel like you were gone?
It honestly felt like maybe a half hour, but it was like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel that long, which is how I knew it wasn't like that crazy.
Because my friend, it's funny that I say my friend. He kind of was my friend. Shock G, the one that put the satin on your panties.
What?
From Digital Underground. Shock G.
Yeah.
He was like a friend through a friend. But he told me about.
Sorry, did that take you by surprise as well? I was friends with, Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
He's a family friend.
He was a friend through actually Rory's like kind of creative partner, this guy Scott Moran, who now does all the visuals for Tool, all the digital stuff for Tool. But
I remember when he did stand up.
Yeah, he did stand up. And but he was like had been a big like fan of Digital Underground and like had done like a bunch of like kind of communicating with the band and had done some tour posters and then became friends with him. I actually I'll tell you first. He told me he took DMT. He hit it. He was gone for 2 weeks. He had married a woman. He lived with a tribe. Wow. All this stuff, and then comes back and it's been 10 minutes. That type of thing. Yeah. And that sounds interesting to me. I mean, I don't do drugs anymore, but that does sound fun.
But that's what I mean in terms of, that's what I was saying earlier, where it's like, I wish there was a way
to do that,
to like unzip this reality, hop into kind of like a zone where you can live and chill out for 4 months.
I think it's the Tom Sizemore of you get in a fight with your wife
in Malibu.
You get in a fight with your wife, and then you go freebase crack in your minivan, and you get a hooker, and you lock up in a what would be a good town, Coxsackie Motel 8 for 3 days. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, but okay, this is actually kind of one of the most surreal things that's ever happened to me. I was doing mushrooms on the top of one of the canyons in Topanga at Shock G's house.
Okay.
And he was not doing mushrooms.
Topanga was not there.
No, Topanga's the canyon that's beyond.
Yeah,
it goes Santa Monica.
Shock G was friends with Danielle Fishel.
No, she probably was around, but it was it goes Santa Monica, Pacific Palisades, Topanga, Malibu.
Gotcha.
And Topanga's like really hippie, and there was like a bunch of shit in the 70s, kind of like Manson family kind of weird shit. Still a bunch of hippies up there. Nice. But he lived at the top in this house, and we went up there and we did mushrooms. And we were, smoking weed, doing mushrooms, and he wasn't doing them, but he was kind of like shepherding us.
Yeah.
And at one point, after he'd like taken us around and shown us all this like flora and fauna and told us about the lizards and all this stuff, he was a really, really cool and interesting guy. He we were laying on our back in his house, this like mid-century thing at the top of fucking Topanga Canyon, looking out over the Pacific. And we're laying on our backs looking up at the ceiling, and he gets on the keyboard and he starts playing and he goes, "Do you know this is the house that they recorded Let's Get It On in?" And we were like, "What?"
What?
He's like, "Yeah, this used to be Marvin Gaye's studio."
Holy
and
shit.
So we were just like high on mushrooms, and he just started breaking down the song and how it was supposed to be an actual Let's Get It On was actually supposed to be a like a civil rights like call to action song, and he just was horny, and so he made it.
He was just bricked up.
Yeah, he was
marching.
just bricked up, and he was just like, "How about it be about me fucking?" type of thing. So, anyways, it was just a cool thing.
That's better than any trip I've ever had. Dude, you had like a fucking music history guide
with one of the best, like, I don't know if you would call him the best rappers of all time or anything like that, but just like an
most
amazing,
important, impactful.
Did you know he was such a sweet guy? He, I don't want to like tell his story, but he produced I've Got Five on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then didn't want any of the royalties because he thought like, hey, we're all family type of thing.
Wow.
And so he never saw the money from that.
Damn. Was that Afro Man?
No, that was Loonies.
What is Afro Man?
See, when you tell me
high.
that Eminem is the most important
I told you that
time,
Eminem is the Richard Pryor of rap.
Yeah, and then
which
you
I
just
do
asked
agree
me
with.
if I Got Five on it was done by Afro Man.
Sorry, I got confused.
Wow, dude. I love that we've gotten to a point where you can be cunty about rap. It's pretty good.
That is fun. So on my second DMT trip, I saw The Divine Feminine. I thought I shit my pants too. I had
you were having your period.
I felt, dude, it was unmistakable. Like it was a warm liquid coming out of my asshole down my legs as I laid down, and I was just like, all right, I shit myself. Like I'll deal with that when I get out of this trip. I remember having that conscious thought, and then I just fucking. I mean, the first trip, it kept showing me it like. It was just out in vacant space. Like it was truly just the black void. And it kept showing me how deep it was and angles and all this different.
It's so weird. What it's so funny that you get like, you're in Rockland County, you fucking nicks and all these fucking meth heads all around you. And then you're just like, you do DMT and you like somehow your brain conjures up the divine feminine. Even if I got that fucked up, I know what the divine feminine is. I got raised on the divine feminine. I would not see the divine feminine. I wouldn't think of that. It's insane.
I'm tapped in, man.
One of my favorite things that ever happened was, I hope she doesn't watch this, but my stepmom likes superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's always like, let's see Captain America. Let's
Nice.
see and then Black Panther came out and we were like, let's go see Black Panther. And she was like, I don't want to. And we were like, why? Like, weird.
Yeah. What's different about this one?
Yeah. Anthony Mackie has a bigger part, doesn't he? Is it Anthony Mackie? That's the
No.
Well, it's Don Cheadle in some of them, but Anthony Mackie was in.
Wait, Don Cheadle in what? What are we talking about?
Don Cheadle's
Black Panther?
the black guy in Iron Man.
Yes.
And then Anthony Mackie is
the new Iron Man. I thought you were talking about Black Panther.
no, but I'm just saying, like,
Cheadle
the black guy has a bigger part.
Yes, yeah.
But anyways, she didn't want to see it, but we were still slated to go see a movie on this day. So we went and saw. We're like, what's in theaters? And we ended up seeing Annihilation, which is like an A24 alien movie.
Oh shit!
So it really it's really grotesque and metaphysical and makes you think. But this is people who like boxed dinners and America's Got Talent and they're if you expose simple people to high art, it will fuck them up. Like, it's the same way, like, if you showed a cop, like, Richard Mapplethorpe photos, he would be like, why am I feeling things right now with the naked guys? Like, they would, like, it hurts them, like, because their brain, it's like, it's putting a Microsoft program into an Apple. Like, it's just like, you know what I mean? And it was so funny because they watched this movie and And it fucked them up because it's like all metaphysical and weird and uncomfortable. And both of them, you could tell they were just like fucked up. And we were walking out of the movie theater. It was like the greatest thing I've ever seen. We're walking out of the movie theater and there was like literally torrents of black children and families like running around in Black Panther masks being like and just these two old white people like walking through the rain just like uncomfortable, like their tummies hurt because they saw an A24 film
existentially fucked.
Exactly. It was so great. I mean, it's like the same thing. Like if you give like a cop acid, he's gonna like not come out of it just like okay. He's gonna.
You know what's weird though is a bunch of the guys that I know that I don't know if it's cops actually, but like blue collar guys that or union dudes that get drug tested regularly.
Yeah.
Mushrooms is kind of like the go-to. It's become that at least now.
Somebody has a joke about this. I forgot who it is. Oh, it's Peter Ravello had a joke about doing acid with his like Staten Island friends.
That's funny.
But I just like the idea.
Peter's fucking funny.
Of like the revelations that dumb guys have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not like actually smart.
I am, but this is the thing. This is that. This is what
you're
the
product
like.
of
I
that.
am the exact thing that you're talking about, and I'm not taking offense to it because it's exact. Like I'm a smart guy. I have my head on, and I can at least recognize
you have like
the
a
things.
sensitivity. I don't know if you changed, but I've never known you to be like a mook. You know? Like
yeah. No,
like,
I never have
I think
been.
Probably because you had a relarelationship with your sisters and your mom or something. I don't know what it. But like,
but there's I've had eras of callousness.
Like, I'm trying to think of a person.
I was in my eras tour.
Would be somebody who's a. I'm sorry, I'm so tired that I can't guess.
It's crazy, dude, that both your shorts and your shirt, different colors, look like your skin tone.
Yeah, these are the shorts that I wore in my famous "Don't Tell" set.
You wore those like gam showers?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, they weren't this high at the time.
Yeah, you weren't sitting. I got the fucking Tonight Show view on like a dime piece on the couch.
A lot of show.
I'm seeing a lovely lady in a short skirt. Oh, I just crunched.
How about these fucking
dude? Your quads look great. What is that? That's just calisthenics?
Skiing and soccer.
Yeah, but you skied a long time ago. There's no way you've maintained just from
squats,
just from muscle memory. Yeah, I squat too, but I don't have those striations.
I think the problem is that you develop the muscles when you're like 17. I think they just stay that shape and then they get soft. But if you work on them, they come back, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I was pretty jacked when I was 17. I just
You got a kettlebell?
Yeah, I do them.
That's what I'm doing.
No, I'm in the best shape I've been in a long time right now.
I can't lose my titties.
You just are barrel chested.
I got
You have Disney Prince chest.
I have a little meat here.
You have the estrogen little fluff.
It's just like.
Did you go through a period of time when you were in your teens where you had like tissue in your nipple?
They're called buds, and they're the worst thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. Because
who called them buds? The doctor?
That's literally what it's a term for it. They're buds, like flower buds. Because when you are going through puberty, your body is like deciding which hormones to give you, and it has to like regulate them. And for like 10% of boys, it gives you too much estrogen, and you grow little boobs. And to be like a fat kid, I was fat.
You were fat?
Yeah, not super fat, but I was like chubby.
Yeah.
Husky is like the section I shopped in. And then like, also I'm raised by my mom and like my entire gay family. So I'm already like, I feel like I'm trying to fight being gay this whole time.
It didn't help in a neckerchief.
Yeah, it was just like, everything was going against me. And then my body was like, hey, what if we grow little tits? I was like, what the fuck? I probably was contemplating killing myself at this point at 12 years old.
Yeah. When did you grow out of them?
I think in like a year or two. I stayed chubby till I was about on and off for the next 2 years. But then like...
When did you get pubes?
14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've always been kind of like hairless.
Yeah. No, I was 15. Dude, I was like 6 foot and like bald.
But you want to hear the craziest thing? I want to think it was sophomore year. I went into the summer after sophomore year at 5'6", and I came back to school in the fall 6'2".
Jesus Christ.
I grew 8 inches that summer.
Jesus Christ. That's like what Michael Jordan didn't make his varsity team as a sophomore, famously. And then the next year, he came back at 6'5".
No, it was
he grew 6 inches.
It was
8 fucking inches.
I grew like.
How did you have control over your body? How
my
didn't you
bones
just slam
hurt
into
every
shit?
day? Like I was like I
You
laid on the
like
couch.
George Mirasan.
I don't know what that reference is. I know the name, but I can't.
He was on the Washington Bullets at the time. He was 7'7", still the tallest player ever to be in the NBA.
Really?
Yeah, he was also
Manu Bol wasn't taller than him?
No, he was 7'6", and Wemby is like 7'4", supposedly. I think he's taller than that though.
I've seen Wemby in person.
Really?
So when Wemby was just about to go to the draft, he was a celebrity in France, and I went to a PSG Marseille game in Paris, and he was there. I have video of it. I'll show you. He looks like a freak. There's a man. He must
look like Anunnaki.
There's a man standing my size, and Wemby's sitting on a stool, and he's still taller than him.
Jesus Christ!
And when he walks, it looks like that scene from Species or Signs.
Yeah,
the bush scene. You know, you're
yes.
like, oh God, this fucking alien.
Do you ever think like? This is great. But like he has to be intimate.
You want to kiss your friend?
Yeah, I want to kiss my friend.
You ever think about that? You want to kiss your friend?
You ever think just sitting over there on the couch, all far away? But he has to be intimate with people, and his hand is the length of a torso. So it's like he could finger
Penis
somebody
sticks?
to death. He has to be so careful. Like. Could you imagine only fingering somebody to the first knuckle and feeling like you were doing anything? But he has to.
You can put more in there? Hey, guys. I'm just teasing. Hey, get it out. Take a sip. Take a sip. No, I haven't thought about that at all.
I've thought about
it's so funny how you're whatever disease you have, it's like everything in your life you come back and you use a metaphor for basketball, and it's like an era of basketball. It's like 80s. It's like
no, it's the 90s.
Yeah, it's like
full
90s. Like, do you ever get like molested? And you're like, like when Stojakovic, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's your babysitter. And he's like, no, but when Vladi and him, you're like, no, you got molested, Mike.
Yeah. My lesbian gym teacher, who is now my son's lesbian gym teacher, told me one time, I forget this. I always forget this guy's name, but I looked like Hito Turkoglu.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, you look like him. And I pulled him up and I was like, this guy is like one of the more unattractive people I've ever seen.
That's so fucked up.
You just called me ugly, lady. I do look like him, though.
Do you want to hear something funny about the WNBA, which is that my gym teacher in middle school was in the WNBA. That's how little they made.
That's crazy. Actively.
She was in the WNBA and still had to have a job.
That's awesome. Wow, that's like having your gym teacher be Dottie Henson.
Oh, the League of Their Own.
League of Their Own.
For a second, I thought you were pulling out another basketball reference. And I was like, Mike, I can't keep up with you, buddy. It's weird because I was such a big basketball fan in the 90s and the early 2000s, and I just don't. It's like I pushed out of my brain for soccer.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, my connection to it has everything to do with just pure comfort, I assume.
So I was a Sonics fan.
Yeah.
And then I grew disillusioned with them, and I became a Trailblazers fan, the Rasheed Wallace era.
Yeah. I mean, the Jailblazers were the best.
And then right after that, I went down to Lake Tahoe, and it was close to Sacramento, and it was White Chocolate. Yeah. And I was like, White Chocolate did so much. I mean,
he ruined my career, but he said because I loved him so much.
Yeah,
like,
I was doing elbow passes on the court, all that shit.
It was the most inefficient point guard of all time.
And then I randomly, a couple years later, became a Suns for the Sean Marion.
Oh, T-Rex shot.
Barbosa, Diaw,
yeah,
Steve Nash,
7 seconds or less.
Stoudemire. A couple other people on that team that were pretty fucking awesome.
God, everybody turned off the show.
What?
I just because we're talking about basketball, I roped you in. I fucked up the whole show. I'm sorry. We're talking basketball.
And then I was fucking the chick and I shit my pants. Is that good?
That is good.
We'll get back on in the algorithm.
What do you think about parenting on the road? Like when you're in LA with Rosebud and the baby, are you fine on a away game, or do you feel like at a loss of resources and stuff?
Well, it's hard because, there's like a certain part of it that's like Rosebud does have more going on, and she also has like she makes more, so she supports a higher quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean I like want to sacrifice my goals so that we have that.
Yeah,
so that's a give and take personally. And it's all like man shit. It's like I'm supposed to provide. I'm supposed to, do
you think that's I mean, no other way, but like wouldn't you feel this exact?
Because I think if I wanted to, I could just be a full-time dad.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have a nanny, and I could just stop.
Yeah, but you're too good of a comic to do that.
But what I'm saying is like she'd be okay with that,
right.
Yeah. And but like I think the hardest part is just that it's just both of us wanting to parent and then also have those moments where we get to step away and give it to the other.
Yeah.
And then also, Rosie just like she'll kind of like pull out this like weird wasp version of herself sometimes where it's like out of the blue. Like I was coming back from my late show on Saturday and she was like, "Can you go to see?" I'm like walking through Deep Ellum, which is like basically like a 4-block trap music video, like in Dallas. And I'm like trying to just I have the stroller and the baby bag, and I'm walking through like literally like women twerking on like lowriders. And she calls me and she's like, "Can you go to CVS? We need Easter decorations." This is the first I've heard of
it. That's awesome.
But I'm trying, like, if you're asking like parenting stuff, like it's just hard. It's just hard for me because I want to be so present, and I really, really like. I'm not like one of these people. We have friends who are like they're good parents, but they pop in.
Mm-hmm.
They pop in, they're parenting. I'm really engaged. I want to be like, I want her to like see my eyes on her, know that I'm there constantly. Both parents, I don't want to look at my phone and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But then also that desire to be like more involved with my career, more productive, and the give and take of that. Like, okay, like I need to answer this email, or I want to tell my editor like I want to do this thing, or such and such club said they might, whatever it is, or like just like an hour to write.
Yeah,
and that's really hard.
Well, because it's different. Nicole doesn't do comedy, so when they come on the road, and it's been a bit, but because with the second baby,
the fucking zoo now.
Now it's a full crew just rolling deep. Yeah, I mean they came to Key West and that was pretty fun, but it's awesome. Like. It's both, like even when we vacation, every time we've vacationed, I've kind of positioned it with a bit, even with a gig, like with Aruba. And it's so fucking fun. But there's part of me that is like spending so much energy on keeping my shit together, both as a dad and then turning the switch to do comedy, which is like the problem with doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
And it is like,
that's really
the
hard.
most exhausting thing in the entire world.
It's so hard to like, I think on Thursday night, we got 3 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got on the plane with the baby. We flew to Dallas. We got to the hotel. It was time for shows.
Yeah.
I did 2 shows. No sleep, like just, and I had fun. I actually had fun, but like I'm worried about them getting settled. I'm feeling bad because Rosie also didn't sleep.
Right.
I think it's like fucking, it's so chaotic and insane. And I don't, it's like,
do you think we'll ever be able to let go of the guilt? Like that shit, the just like almost like an unforced error where you don't have to feel that way. Like, she is, Rosebud, my wife, whoever, are like completely capable of doing it, settling in, doing whole thing.
By the way, like,
of course, I'm thinking the feelings.
A Thursday, like, or Friday, that's like the first night of the weekend after I've been with them for 20 days.
Yeah.
oh my God, I could turn around and never go home. You know, like that's the feeling. I get straight to the hotel room. I jerk off immediately. I take a nap. I'm vaping in bed. Like it's like nothing better. But then I FaceTime later and I'm like, oh my God, it's like the fucking what? Also, I was thinking about this. Like this is so funny. Is just the idea that you're dying in a plane crash and you're like, you know that you're ruining your family's life, and it's like because you went to go play the jukebox in Peoria. Like, just like, it's like one thing for like if you die doing comedy like in theaters or on the way to a movie set.
Then it's La Bamba or whatever.
But if I die on the way to Wisecrackers in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and my daughter grows up feeling this vacuous dearth in her life, she won't be able to tell people that.
No,
she'll have to be like, he died in a car accident. He was a social worker,
a minister.
Yeah, he was a minister.
Spread cheer.
Yeah.
I actually hope that they're able. If that were to happen, I would hope my sons would find the humor in it. The funniest bit of them all.
I don't know if any of them are going to be able to get my level of humor. And it does not work for a lot of people because I think things are so funny that are so dark because I've spent 10 years fledgling, like, and like the idea of like, I used to have a parking spot on the Warner Brothers lot. And then like, now I'm like, like now I'm trying to convince a fucking alcoholic to give me $800, like too much we used to spend on the that's so funny to me, and you have to spend 10 years struggling for that to be funny, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm glad my highs haven't quite been that high. I guess if there's one thing, I've maintained.
I say bring back the gatekeepers. They were great to me. The gatekeeping was awesome.
Yeah, no, you were Johnny Industry. I feel like you were in there.
I fucked it up, dude. I fucked up. I've thought about like I at one point I was just gonna DM Bill Lawrence, who's like one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. He made Ted Lasso. I'm the only comic who's a TV writer who like stand-up comic who cares about soccer.
Yeah.
And he picked Jamie Lee. I wanted to fucking headbutt him in his fucking wasp face.
He probably didn't think you could be positive.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I probably couldn't have written that show. I'd be like, but Ted, like he keeps on having like anonymous sex because he misses his wife. And they're like, no, this is supposed to make the family feel good. And I'm like, well, okay, he has a pill problem, but he doesn't do pills today because he sees hope after he FaceTimes his son. They're like, no. You're right. You know what? You've made a really good point. This whole 8 years that I've had a resentment, I take it.
I take it back entirely.
It's dissolved.
No, I think you would have been. I mean, are they still taking submissions?
No, the fourth and final season is in production right now.
God damn it!
But one time, I historically have the ability to put my foot in my mouth more than I think anybody, because I've been like, we saw Luann from Real Housewives on Sunday night at the airport, and I was like, we were like chatting her up, and she was like, "You guys coming to the show?" And we were like, "No, we're actually like just on our way. Like, we're gonna go back to New York before it happens." She's like, "It'll be in New York next week," and I was like, for some reason, I was like, "It'll be funny if I go, who's your publicist?" And she's like, and then says this guy's name, and I'm like, "We'll hit him up," or something like that. And I thought it was just funny to like fuck with her for some reason, but everybody around was just like, "What are you doing?"
You're a fucking lunatic.
I just thought it'd be funny to be like, "Who's your publicist?" So our publicist will call your, like I was just being random, and everybody around me was like, "What are you doing?" And like, this is like one time with Ted Lasso, I didn't know that Brett Goldstein was one of the creators of it. I just knew that he was on it, and we are buddies in like a online.
Is that
he's the British,
comic.
the
comedian,
yeah. And I was DMing him, and I said, "I want you to tell Bill Lawrence if he doesn't hire me that you won't come back next year." And he said, he did like an LOL or something. And then like 2 days later, it was like I realized like, oh no, he's also the executive producer and creator of the show. And I was like, what am I? I was trying to be funny. Why did I do this? It's so weird to have such a good heart and just constantly do this.
I mean, it's tough, man. I have this thought all the time where I'm like, man, if anybody could just see my intentions, like if there was a way that you could give somebody glasses and they could just mute my words, actions, everything, and somehow just gain full access to my intentions.
That's the problem, though. Is
love me.
That's like what I'm dealing with in the. You can tell the cold brews hit.
I've gone through peaks and valleys with this guy. I've had 3 iterations of caffeinated drinks today, and I'm on the downswing.
I think all of them just hit at once, and I am galaxy braining, and it's awesome. I love it. I'm going to be chasing.
Did just give a smile I've never seen before.
I'm going to chase this high for days. Seriously, I might double dose my SSRIs just for the hell of it. But
let me go on.
Come on. That was one of the funniest things I ever saw Racine do. Racine was like, you know Deb and Racine, right?
Yeah.
I was living with them, and Racine was like feeling down, and Deb like had a Prozac and was like, take a Prozac. And I was like, that is not how those work. You do not take them as needed.
Take a Prozac.
He just or like a Zoloft funny. Or something. It was just like, and he took it and he was like, I don't know, I think it helps. I forgot what I'm trying to deal with, like with what you're talking about with the intentions, is like I feel like this is what I'm dealing with in therapy right now. Is I'm so disassociated and I have so much trouble like being present.
Yeah.
That's why drugs were so great for me, because they quieted a lot of stuff, or they put me in such a panic state that I had to be in the moment.
Man. Oh, that really hit me.
Like a sativa, a sativa with a cup of coffee. It was like, oh, buddy, if I don't keep eye contact and just pay attention to what's going on,
it's like off-roading.
I'm gonna slip into the oblivion.
This is my everyday life.
I'm gonna become energy.
Is that a problem? I thought that was a good thing. I thought it's giving me something to focus on.
It's all how you feel about it.
Yeah. I feel good.
I think you're all right.
All right,
I think you're an alcoholic, but you seem to be doing fine.
A what?
Alcoholic.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely,
I never tell anybody how to deal with their sobriety, but no, I mean that. Like, because some people can do different things. I can't do, like.
I was also asking with intention to not necessarily
if you
follow
put a
advice.
If you put a bowl of M&Ms on the table,
yeah,
and you said, Andy, you can have 1 M&M, but if you have 2, we're going to shoot your family. I would grab a handful. Because I'm such an addict.
Yeah.
I can't have anything that makes me feel good and not go for more.
Yeah. I told you Nicole calls me Mikey Extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't do
it's
things
the personality,
in any kind
dirt
of moderation.
holes in our little childhood bodies.
So weird.
But I'm trying to synthesize like what you're talking about with the intentions, because it's like I have these intentions, but I'm a dumbass, and I'm so in the back of my head, like piloting this, like, what's that thing called from Pacific Rim? The like giant robots.
Mecha?
Yeah. I'm like, my whole life, I'm a mecha or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like literally going like, okay, smile, blink.
You
know, like that's literally how I feel in social settings.
Yeah.
And nobody knows that like I'm just this scared little boy like looking for approval. And then I tell a celebrity, hey, we'll call your publicist. You know, it's like they don't know that. They just think I'm a fucking freak.
Oh, that's so funny. I did a pilot with her once.
Really?
The Countess, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You did tell me this.
Yeah.
I think you said it went bad.
It wasn't great. It was
like you guys had a bad rapport.
I think I made fun of her too, and it didn't go over well. I do that same thing, but I never even consider her like she's not famous to me. Like
you don't respect what she does.
No, it's not that I even disrespect it. It's just not in the world in which I care about.
I mean, yeah, I'm the same way. It's like that's why I had the ability to just talk to her.
I love that you did it, though. That's great. I fucking love
Jared
that.
Goldstein and
sometimes that works, though, and you might be taken on like a private jet to be, you know.
I had a lot of experiences like that back in the day. Yeah. I remember this one time I chatted this guy up all night at the Edinburgh Comedy Festival, and all these people were like walking me around. He was like walking me around, introducing to me to all these people, and like at the end of the night, my friend like takes me aside. He goes, "You know, you're talking to like the Jay Leno of Australia," and I was like. I had no idea. Yeah. Hey, mate.
Good day, mate.
Anyways,
Sorry.
I feel like the caffeine buzz just started.
It just ended.
It just started to crash.
Nicole, if we could put like a timer on the bottom of the screen just to see how long that lasted, and then a close up of Andy's face right there. Your face looked like the older brother.
It's like
the day after.
You know what it's like? It's like the Urkel and what's the Urkel?
Stefan?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
Urkel and Stefan. I was Stefan there for like a good 25 minutes.
You were cooking.
And then Urkel was like, "Didn't
He peeked out right before you were about to bang.
My machine just
I'm back.
my carriage just turned into a pumpkin."
Do you know, I remember, I have this memory every once in a while of like one of the hardest times I've ever laughed. And it's an episode. It's an episode of Sorry. I thought you were leaving. You got up so fast, quick, in a hurry. I thought you were out.
I'm hanging on by a thread.
I remember an episode of Family Matters where Urkel was playing the accordion in a tree branch outside of Laura's window.
Oh, yeah.
And he fell, like something about the fall and the noise he made. I remember being like 7 and losing my mind, actually not having a grip on on anything, and being this is the epitome of comedy.
I don't remember a ton of Family Matters. Wasn't there like a dark episode where
Eddie got the shit kicked out of him by a gang, the
Wasn't
Dragons?
there another one though where the dad, because the
remember
dad's
that
a
one.
cop, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there one where the dad like shoots somebody or something?
No, but there is one where a fellow officer, racially profiles Eddie, and that was really hard. That was really hard for Carl to deal with as a police officer, and me as a former black man.
Yeah. As a black-souled white boy.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I also was very, convinced I was Martin Luther King Jr. in a past life, so I connected to Family Matters big time.
How old were you? Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah,
as a kid,
I was young. I was connected. See, this is why I think this is the weirdness of like what sensitivity meets idiocy meets the suburbs meets, whatever.
I think something that something that's really weird, and I know this is like the most stonery all over the episode.
I love this,
but
this is my favorite episode we've ever done, by the way.
I'm having a lot of fun, and I just got a second wind. But what I think is really weird that we don't talk about is that, and I know that things have changed. We kind of learned the error of our ways, but our generation was raised on black culture.
Yeah.
In a way that was not only just music, television, and I'm not saying that it didn't have some giant gray areas or blind spots.
No, language-wise, it was pretty tough for a couple people to deal with.
But what I mean is it didn't show us a lot of the whole story, police profiling, racial injustice, wealth inequality, whatever. But we were raised, I was raised on not only rap music that preached about Pan-Africanism and Arrested Development. Think about all those songs. Those songs are about black communities rejoicing. And I'm this little white boy, and I'm loving it. I had a fucking Malcolm X hat. It's so weird to have been raised as that's almost part of your culture. And then also, because I'm in Seattle and I'm going to Seattle public schools, they're teaching us about the Black Panthers and all this stuff. And it's not, I have no ownership over this. It's just bizarre that now it was I was raised with this, and you're raised with this consciousness of it. And then there's also this thing where it's but also don't talk about it. And and you don't actually know anything about it. And you know what I mean? Because, and it's true. I don't have any experience. I can't commiserate with that experience at all. But it is, I think our generation uniquely was raised in this area where it was this pro African American, spotlight, black empowerment in only a media music kind of way.
Totally, yeah.
And then it was just dropped into suburban white heads. Mm-hmm. And then we were given no instructions.
Well, yeah, no, we were the experimental generation for everything.
I permed my hair.
Huh?
I permed my hair so that I wanted to get
Yeah, no, I
curly
get it.
black hair.
That's crazy.
And it just looked like a Jerry
Is there a
curl.
picture of that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Also, we can throw it up.
I mean, we were literally, I used to have a bit about this, but we were given the internet. Like, we got it. We got the internet before anybody really knew what it was or how to navigate it or what the rules were. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, dude, I again, part of the joke, I was in 8th grade with my friend Timmy, and we AOL searched for 8th grade girls naked. Like, we didn't know. We were just like, what? It's girls our age. Like, that's fine, right? We had no idea. And then you find out that you're like, oh, wait, that's a by the way, a pretty successful search, but also, that's you?
Yeah.
With the perm?
Yeah.
Dude, do you know
Aeropostale
that's crazy.
polo shirt with a vest over the top.
Wow.
My mom did that. She helped me perm my hair.
I mean, it looks good.
Thanks.
It actually looks good.
I've got some more pictures like that.
But I just don't even look like the same person, though.
No, I know.
Do you see this?
Hold it up to the camera. Let them see it.
Was there?
I just blocked I let it's like it's just very bizarre. I mean, we don't need to fucking begrudge it, but I just turned on my dad. My dad moved to the suburbs when I was like 7. And it was like the first time we had cable, and I just sat down in front of a TV and I turned on MTV, and it was Yo MTV Raps.
Right.
And I was like in love.
Yeah.
And it was just gangster rap and rap about New York City and Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what to do with it.
Right.
And it was also by myself.
But I also think that like part of just even your nature to appreciate that is also the part of your nature that makes you a comedian. Like the counter culture, this is different, this is in my face, this is something, this is like colorful, it's like aggressive, it makes my dad uncomfortable. Like
Made
it's
my
like
dad very uncomfortable. He threw the soundtrack to Boys in the Hood out the RV window. I bought the cassette and we plugged it into the motorhome sound system, and it went right out the window about 20 seconds into the first song.
Do you know my dad did that with a CD that we got from the Renaissance Fair? We like listened to we got their CD. Like,
gay.
Yeah, he was just like, what the fuck is it? He just hocked it out of the. Because I think about it all the time too, where it's like, what is this connection? What's the emotional connection to it? And also, I grew up. I think sports were my in through everything. It's just what it is. But even like culturally, racially, everything, like that's how I got to learn anything. So my racial lessons or conversations came on the court and off the court, sleepaway basketball camp, like all that shit. And then I watched Hoop Dreams.
Yeah.
And Hoop Dreams like fucking changed my life.
But that's the thing that's so weird to me about this like CRT thing. Like all these parents have a problem with like CRT stuff, critical race theory, which is like never in any way did this affect my self-esteem.
No, I thought really highly of myself because I empathize so much.
Yeah, but also, I don't know, because you can't watch Hoop Dreams and be like, oh, they had a fair shot.
Right,
it's like very obvious
that
they're starting from a deficit, and they do the incredible thing through like a community and all
and then
stuff.
Also that there's like weird privileges through talent, but then also while you're experiencing individual privilege, your family is living still in this awful situation.
Yeah.
Like William Gates getting like whisked through that entire private school thing, and the fact that Arthur Agee was like in it, but he didn't pan out as a player immediately that they thought, so they just sent him the fuck home to the ghetto, to the hood. It was just like, it was so insane. And the father in the book, they really reveal like the dad and how he was just openly an addict and really abusive to the mother. I mean, they cut out, the movie is 4 fucking hours. Highly recommend watching Hoop Dreams, even if you're not necessarily a basketball fan.
It's a documentary about kids living in the hood more than it is about basketball.
Well, and it's so, I mean, Spike, it didn't win the Oscar. I don't think it even got nominated or something egregious.
I don't think Spike's the director.
He wasn't, but he went on a huge campaign for, like, on behalf of the movie when it didn't get nominated to like champion it, because it's now largely considered one of the best documentaries ever made.
Yeah.
It's so good, but it truly opens your eyes to some shit, especially back then. Obviously things are a little bit different now, but probably not recruiting wise and how they leverage, opportunity over these kids.
In my school district, there was a school called Mercer Island, and Mercer Island, like, just would move an entire family onto the island so
Yeah.
that they could be in the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
They would go scout them. They would have these basketball camps all around the state and the Pacific Northwest, and they'd find kids. And all of a sudden, this single mom would just live in a condo paid for by the PTA or whatever, the Alumni Association. And they were so fucking rich, it didn't matter at all.
Totally, yeah.
But they were like this small, like predominantly white, Jewish, very wealthy school district. And all of a sudden, they would be like contenders in state. It was like
Moisha Jackson is a 6'7"
exactly.
black guy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hoop dreams, everybody. That's my promo.
Yeah, I think that's weird that I think kids. I think that's actually one of my favorite things. Even if I'm a little bit of a beta cuck or whatever, is that I love that because I grew up middle class, but in around a lot of affluence, and I think the most rewarding thing for me was to be able to get bussed into the hood every day and see kids.
Yeah.
Like when I was in 6th grade, we went to 3 funerals for kids that got shot in gang violence. And I think you guys probably had similar issues.
We had drunk driving mostly.
It's a little different. But,
Yeah.
People died.
But
what I'm trying to say is it's just like, I think that's so important. Not funny, but, I feel like we're kind of angling on a parent thing in this pod. We have I think we have a fair amount of people that like get interested in the parent stuff. So.
Yeah, I think they like the tangents. They like the parents. They like the comedy. I think we full service.
Have all our guests been parents?
No.
Maddie's the only one though, right? Sagalo, no. Okay, so Maddie and Sagalo are the only ones.
Wow.
Because Rachel, Rosie, Joe.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is a great way to sign off.
Great episode. I really had fun on this one.
I had a really good time. I think we made a good amount of eye contact.
You're getting better.
Thanks.
I will say that.
I appreciate it.
I'm
this really working on it.
And the fact that you're exousted, that means you're pulling triple duty.
I think I started ketosis or something.
I started graphing. What is that called? Spiral graph?
I don't know.
What are those things?
Kaleidoscope?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's called. Kaleidoscope. Guys, MikeCatAcomedy.com for dates.
Andy Haynes. Just go to my Instagram page.
Nicole C. Lyons Productions.
Close enough.
Nicole Lyons Productions. Beautiful Boys YouTube. Smell you later.